Hello, and welcome to the Dash Force Free Amigos podcast, episode 38. Special episode this week, and I don't want to delay it any further because we're on borrowed time because Joel and Albert are joining us from New Hampshire at the Liberty Forum event. So, Joel, how's it been going there? Has it been going good? Have we lost Joel? Has it frozen?
They're frozen.
Wow, I knew time was short, but I didn't realize it was going to be that quick. Well, hopefully, Brian, do you want to send a quick message over to Slack to Joel just to tell him to restart?
Yeah.
And I'll just freestyle. He wants to hear a Dash Force rap.
No,
probably better not. Just censor that.
We have special guest August today.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah, August. So if you don't know, oh, is Joel back?
Yes. Connection issues.
Wow.
Just brought.
And they're live from a hotel room, right?
Yeah, for now.
Excellent. So how's the event been so far?
I think it's been pretty good. It's we got a sweet.
Oh no!
No!
Dropped out.
Well, we know it was good.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy. Oh, there they go. It's
there we go.
We're back again.
What did you do?
30 people got new Dash wallets. That was nice, $20 each. Now, and they can spend it. They can buy maple syrup right next door. They can buy soap. They can buy T-shirts. They could buy little wooden Dash coasters. And then tonight, I'm hosting a dinner at Murphy's Tap Room, which takes Dash for food. So I'm going to make everyone pay for their meal in Dash. So that's going to be really cool. Tomorrow morning, I have a talk on Dash, a digital cash revolution you haven't heard about. And on about 1:30 or so in the afternoon, I'm on the crypto panel. And then somewhere around 4, I'm in like a longer breakout session where we're about Dash and Dash evolution. And Ian from Core is going to join us there. And possibly Dr. Darren Tapp. I don't know yet, but Joshua unfortunately couldn't make it. But it's going to be a good time. And then hopefully we'll get some cool T-shirts to give to everyone. But Dash is definitely crypto king here in New Hampshire. Hands down.
What's
the turnout? Yeah, what's the turnout? How many people are there?
Paint me a picture.
That's it.
A few hundred, yeah. I'll have to obviously people come and go during the day. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday event. And so not many people Thursday. You're going to have more people today, Friday, and then Saturday's probably going to be the biggest group. And the thing is, because there's a whole vendor area type thing where we're at, not everyone's going to be in there all the time. And then most people are going to talks and other events. It's very decentralized as far as a conference. Like it's going on all over the city almost. So it's hard to get a head count in one spot. I'll have to talk to the organizer after that. But it's a few hundred people. Almost everyone knows. Almost no one said, "What is Dash?"
What kind of questions have you been getting from people?
Where can I spend it? That's pretty much it. Like some people say, "Well, how's it better than Bitcoin?" Or
why is it Bitcoin?
Yeah, or a lot of people don't even need that because they kind of use Bitcoin and they know that it's not the best for payments. Some of them, sometimes it's like, well, how does Dash going to? I got quite a few. How's it going to scale long term? And then something about, well, doesn't a bigger block size cause centralization of nodes? And then there's been a few of those kind of more advanced questions. But I mean, for a general purpose conference, it's been very friendly. Everyone loves the free Dash for the selfie. And yeah, we're kicking butt out there.
Yeah, Dash is the only. I've been doing a lot of research on all these other coins, and Dash is the only one that really does have a plan to scale in a decentralized fashion.
Yeah, I heard Ripple's plan was pretty good.
Wasn't there like a coffee thing going on at the event? Did you get involved in that?
Yeah,
or was that
like
happening tomorrow?
15 minutes.
Oh,
like in 15
right.
minutes, so we're gonna have to run downstairs and start taking some pictures. Maybe jump back in and live stream that part for a second. But seems like you guys are 5 of us in the chat right now, so I'm sure that you can lose a couple.
So what's the deal with the coffee thing? Are they accepting Dash, or is that just for everyone to come together?
Sponsored by Dash, right? So Dash sponsored the coffee breaks as well because Dash is still good for coffee. You know, it's not.
Fantastic.
We don't need to open up a payment channel.
So what about rivalry? Who else is there? Have you seen any other crypto presence there?
There's a precious metals hater.
Yeah, I thought it was a Monero guy.
Well, that's a good default. There are a couple people I've seen with Monero t-shirts, but they haven't had the stones to come by and heckle us. And also because, you know, I'm just giving people, hey, you whatever phone you got, download the Dash wallet, I'll give you $20 in Dash, you'll have it like that. Hey, can you give me $10 in Monero? Let's do a trade. Oh, right, yeah. Sorry. So it's
great. Well, they get the chance. They get the chance to spend that Dash on the coffee.
Yeah, you can spend it. You don't need this. The coffee's free, but you can buy a quart of maple syrup for $20. So they can just go and buy their maple syrup with the Dash they just got. They could buy 3 bars of special organic soap, right?
$18.
Yeah, for $18. You have a couple bucks left over. You have some organic salad dressing. The guy who runs the Shire Soaps business, they take 19 different cryptos, but they convert it all into Dash. And they have Dash branding on every single one of their labels. Like if their salad dressing has a little Dash on it, and just everything has Dash on it because they love Dash so much. So,
what was the complaint with the precious metal guy? I'm just curious. What did they have to say?
I was just talking pretty much for when I talked to him. He was more of just more like, oh, once you download something on your phone or anything like that, it's gonna be like. He didn't use the term keylogging, or image snatching or something like that. It's not very.
Oh, so
secure,
you did. So essentially, if you don't hold it, you don't own it, and it's digital.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
just
that's cool.
Oh, that's the receiving address that you're on the.
Did you say to him? Did you say, have you tried to spend your precious metals online?
No.
I can't fit my coins into my laptop.
Well, if you have a wide enough USB port, you can take some of those. That's why they make some of those silver, like the 10th ounce coins. They're kind of rectangular, so they can fit into those USB ports. So you can buy stuff with them online.
I thought that was what that DVD thing was for.
Oh yeah, you're right. You gotta take your hammer. You gotta flatten the gold out really thin so it can still fit in there.
Put it on the street. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what Trezor's. That's what a Trezor's for, and also that you should tell him when the government comes for his silver. I mean, you can't really hide it. They can't take your crypto.
You have to hide it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, all I have to do is give you a nice big hug. Oh, there you get all your silver out.
So what about other vendors there? Because it's a Liberty forum, right? So there's all kinds of people with a kind of, the libertarian freedom mindset. So of course they're going to be open to Dash. But what kind of other vendors and exhibitors are there on the other benches and stalls and stuff?
Someone's selling houses for Dash.
People selling houses for Dash.
Porcupine Real Estate takes Dash. Yeah, they're the ones who, I don't know if you saw a few months ago, they did a transaction where they sold a car for Dash. It was like half Dash, half Bitcoin, I think. And so, yeah, the real estate agent takes Dash. And as long as the seller of the house takes Dash, then it'll work. But yeah, I do know one guy in Nashua who's selling his house for Dash. He's a state rep. And he said he was selling it for Bitcoin first, but he changed his mind. He wants Dash now.
Wants that master.
We were so close.
And I hooked him up with Discover Dash and BitCart. So now he's using his Dash for that stuff.
We were so close to getting a bit to Byte mobile and paying 100% in Dash. The guy we were working with was going to do Dash, but it just didn't work out. But that would have been cool. Has anyone actually ever purchased a car in full?
Scammer changed his mind. Who logged into our cryptocurrency and was just like, wait a second, I didn't know that 70% of Dash's coin supply was being hodled. Oh, this changes everything. I gotta just stop it all. No.
Yeah, I believe Graham from Opera Incubator. Now, I don't know if he went through this. I think he was talking to his uncle or something at the time. I think he was looking into buying a car with Dash in exchange. I don't know if that ever came to fruition, though, so I don't want to say that as a concrete thing, but that was definitely something on the cards. But it's a great way to get Dash to friends and family and that sort of stuff. I think as soon as someone actually buys a house with Dash, that's going to be really good for the headlines. And of course, now with Remax as well, they're based in Canada and the States. Is that correct?
Definitely in the States.
In the UK, right? They have a Remax UK site. Yeah.
To be honest, I'm not familiar with them. I've not seen them before, so it was news to me. But like, the impression I got back from the community is that they're really big in Canada. So, and now look, all these people that you've been tipping with Dash, although I'd love them to spend it, I've been trying to accumulate so much Dash in this past week. I've been selling stuff on eBay, like just trying to get as much dinosaur money as possible to put into Dash, because I just see the price just going rocketing from here. I think the pullback is over.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, Toke Normal, who is our esteemed community member and occasional partial contributor to Dash Force News, he has some very astute analysis, and he just says that there's no big splash ever coming for Dash, that it's just a drip, 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 drop, drop, drop of new integration after new integration after new good news, new thing, and eventually that's just all going to add up. It's just at some point you're just going to look around and be like, oh crap, everywhere in my town takes Dash now. Everyone's like, and then that's
I don't think it's not even gonna be a splash. It's gonna be all of a sudden, boom, you wake up and there's an ocean.
Yeah,
sounds like a wet dream. sounds like it's gonna be there's gonna be a guy in a Bitcoin t-shirt in like a swimming pool, but the swimming pool's empty, and then there's just gonna be like the Dash pool, and it's gonna be like overflowing. There's gonna be like party with like people floating, and
yeah, the ocean's gonna be Dash blue. You know, a bunch of blue whales flying around with dozens of masternodes.
I don't know. We'll see what happens when Coinbase integrates this. I think that'll make a splash.
Yeah, we'll see if that. It might be. I'm still kind of skeptical about Coinbase. Probably they'll take Dash eventually. I don't think it'll be in time for that to be significant for Dash. You know what I mean? I think by the time Coinbase takes Dash, this is just my speculation, right? Not passing it off as fact, right? My speculation is that by the time Coinbase takes Dash, it won't be much of a headline at all.
Yeah, I think Robinhood app, it seems so accessible to many people, and it already has that presence. So it's going to make things so much easier, and it's actually got advantages over using Coinbase. And I think that launching next month or the end of this month. So
yeah. Now, what I've heard a few different things. I've heard that they're trading Bitcoin and Ethereum right away, and they're allowing to monitor other currency prices. Quite a few big articles also said that they're doing Bitcoin, Ethereum right now, and then like at the end of March or something, it'll be all like a bunch of like 12 different coins or 17 or something. So I'd have to find reliable info on that, but it's not for sure that Dash is getting on its own Coinbase. But in the meantime, I mean, you're spoiled, right? Mercury Cash, Uphold, like you can get your Dash really easily.
What I find interesting about that is, though, people that sign up to Coinbase, Bitstamp, all these other exchanges is specifically for cryptocurrency. But this Robinhood app, people are already using it to buy stocks, precious metals, futures and stuff already. So just adding the cryptocurrency angle to it, it's going to open up to a much bigger audience. So I have big hopes for it. But just like myself this week, it's great to have different options in buying, whether some people prefer to take the anonymous route and buy through an ATM with a little bit of a premium fee because they don't want to do it. I don't want to do so I wanted to buy Dash this week, and I don't like the exchanges giving my passport and address and all that sort of stuff, because recently some of the exchanges have been passing money on to, well, you've got the IRS, but we've got Inland Revenue over here. If you spend over like 10 grand, $10,000 dollars or pounds, that information gets passed on. So I prefer the decentralized route. So for me, local Bitcoins route is what I prefer. But having the options is what's needed. And each country, this is the great thing at the moment, because we're still in that startup phase. If you're in a particular country that doesn't have these options or opportunities, you can look around, because while we're still in this centralized sort of era at the moment, we still have to operate in terms of legislation within our own sort of nations, even for our borderless currency. So sky's the limit.
Do y'all pay a VAT on the crypto?
Yeah. Well, VAT. See, this is difficult. I know it was the end of last year, especially many Americans were talking about. Actually, Craig Mason did a good video on this. So some people weren't sure that if they had to pay tax in America on like trades and exchanges that they've been doing. But if you're trading one cryptocurrency to the other, I believe the outcome was like you don't have to.
You do now. You do now.
But
In
you have to now?
2017, yeah, anything you have to supposed to.
Can you imagine if you're a day trader and like especially it's day trading, you're making like hundreds of trades a day, especially like high frequency trading?
We'll probably see some new laws. I know Jared Polis and other people were teaming up to have that law to where as long as it wasn't over $600, it was tax free. Hopefully I'd love to see Dash. I don't know what people think about lobbyists, but hey, if we could get, everything under 600 exempt, that would be more than worth it. Yeah.
In America, do you pay tax on trading options? Or is that tax free? Because in the UK, it's regarded as spread betting, kind of like gambling, because you're trading on futures ETFs. So for us, I still believe in the UK, we're in that sort of territory. If you're changing up your cryptocurrency into fiat dinosaur money, then yeah, they're going to want that. They're going to want that money. So I'm hodling for now until something better comes along, or I'm going to move. Maybe go to Ireland.
That's an interesting idea I've sort of had, because I was talking with Lynn Ulbricht, Ross Ulbricht's mom, and of course her big thing is trying to get her son out of prison, right? And unfortunately, there's not a lot you could do. It's such a gray area. Everything's a gray area these days, right? And what if someone put in a proposal 1 month for 2,000 Dash, or just to set up a couple of master nodes to fund a cryptocurrency legal defense fund that would take care, like a foundation that would take care of the legal expenses for people like a random local Bitcoins trader who ends up being charged with money laundering, or someone who's runs a cryptocurrency business but just logged all their Dash transactions for their tax reporting and didn't do the profit loss, and didn't do the profit loss for each single transaction, right? Didn't do the capital gains, and then they get in trouble, and it's just all this legal gray area. Also to write comprehensive tax education and guides for that, and then you could do something like that for lobbyists. And the good thing about that is it wouldn't have to be an ongoing proposal if you just set up a couple nodes that then
you probably only need, I see that in the future. Right now, I think the budget's going to be tight, but in the future, definitely, if there's an extra 1,000, boom, take it. And that's a great idea.
It's a one-time cost too.
Yeah,
you don't have
great
to,
idea.
You have to come back for money. It's like a foundation, it just keeps kicking it out. And then what about this? What if you had the legal defense fund, and then sometimes you have proposals that submit higher than the budget or have a buffer just in case the price fluctuates so they can still carry out their mission. What happens, or for example, what happens, just the price goes way up and you have all this extra money. What happens if you have in your proposal that you'll donate any excess funds to the legal defense fund, to Dash Direct, or to the Dash Boost smaller project incubator, right? And then let me throw another layer to it. What if every month, one day before the voting deadline, if there's too much money available, someone puts a proposal for the slush fund where all the money gets separated, it cleans up the rest of the money in the treasury for that month and puts it to legal defense fund, Dash Direct, Dash Boost, whatever. That might be a fun thing.
Yeah, Evan tried something like that a long way back in the very beginning, and it was rejected. But who knows? That was the early days.
I think the hard part is the accountability too, and part of that kind of almost means, I don't want to say like centralization, but you have to have the volume or like the use case almost for it. I know.
Yeah, we've got Todd in the chat. Todd did an amazing article today on the website, so definitely go check that out about naysayers. Yeah. It's really amazing. I really recommend it. But he said in the chat that the rise of Dash will be a critical mass tipping point thing, or as I like to refer to it, as dinosaur money tipping point.
The band.
Yeah, that needs to be a meme.
Dinosaur money tipping point.
Think about it.
Yeah, and that's how they say, like, the end of the riff, they just stop all the instruments, go think about it.
people in the crowd hold up banners. Do the math. Yeah. It'd be
That'd be a
amazing.
good song title. Do the math by Dennis Tipping Point.
I'm gonna do a t-shirt. I'm gonna do a t-shirt for Dash, and it's gonna be like one of those festival t-shirts. You know, all the places that they played, like the song list. We should do that.
The best in joke.
Hey,
Right.
how long does this thing last? The festival, Joel?
It's gonna be over Saturday evening. We'll see how that works out. Yeah, it's a 3-day thing, mostly like a weekend, like a Friday, Saturday thing. But Thursday there was some events and a dinner and stuff like that. And yeah, it's pretty good. It's gonna be very interesting. There's a good crypto panel going on. There's someone from Zcash, people from AnyPay, that point of sale system that all the local Dash businesses use. Yeah, there's a few guys. There's the lead backend developer of OpenBazaar, Chris Paces here. There's a bunch of, it's a good crypto crowd despite not being a crypto conference, but it's one of those things where larger and larger portions of the Liberty movement have become employed in crypto because people see this as everyone wants to make a difference for the world. And this seems to be the ticket, right? It's almost just like why, like Amanda and Pete and I were all part of that like early Liberty movement. We all kind of moved to New Hampshire even though they're not there anymore, as part of this, like, well, we're going to try to be as free as we can. We're going to experiment, be on the cutting edge of this. And then we're all in Dash, and we didn't get each other into Dash. We all came to it independently. And it's just because if you follow your philosophy to the ultimate conclusion, you should probably end up to the same place. And so if you really want true financial freedom for the world, you want a free world, Dash is kind of the best bet we have at a free world. Like I know some people are like, well, it's much bigger than that. And, you know, Dash is a good component, and it's like, yeah, this is the front lines as far as I'm concerned.
The proof is in the pudding. That's another song.
Yeah, you said Danny was there. That dude gets around, man. He is everywhere.
Danny's not here, unfortunately.
He's not there.
But
Okay.
Lindbergh was talking about Danny, saying, yeah, he's a great guy.
I was going to say, man, I don't see. He'll be at Anarchapulco. I was going to say, how is he doing all? That's great. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I know you guys have got to. I was going to say, I know you guys are going to run off soon for the coffee, but I just want to say, for those that are watching that are unfamiliar with Albert, he's the great guy within Dash Force that he's been doing the video tutorials on his channel, but he also he's done the majority bulk of the business listings on Discover Dash. So you have to give a Dash salute to Albert.
He does the meetups. He runs the meetup now.
The quiet guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the quiet guy with the deep booming radio voice. We should Albert, Chuck, and I should have like a decibel off, where we can see just how low we can get the voice. That was Moo Camo right there. Boom.
So, have you guys got to run off now, or can you stay about for a bit?
I think we got to take off, but it looks like you guys are well staffed anyway. We got Brian over there, and we got that other dude. I forgot his name.
I'll hold down the fort.
July.
All right, so
keep up the great job,
stay
Joel
dashy
and
over the
Albert.
weekend.
Keep the photos coming. Keep repping Dash, and I want to see those photos of those T-shirts tomorrow. So keep up the great job and keep those setting up those wallets.
Yep, we'll do. We're like 30 deep so far, I think.
Excellent. You're doing the Dash
Maybe a
community
little
proud. We're repping you. And for those watching, if you're not following Joel, it's at the Desert Links on Twitter. Check him out. He's been tweeting pictures of setting people up with wallets. Go there, like it, share the love.
Yep. Stay dashy, folks. We'll be back to our scheduled programming next Friday.
God, I almost hit the close button.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
We need like an outgoing jingle or something.
Yeah.
I better take off before I cause any more damage. See you guys. Peace.
Take care, guys.
Yeah.
We need some sort of like Dash jingle when someone leaves.
Yeah, it's just the stay dashy. It triggers me like stay dashy. Right, that's it. Right. August, thank you for joining us. Sorry for putting you to the side while Joel was here. We didn't know, obviously, with the connection. We wanted to just make the most of it. So I know who you are. We got history. We go way back. We go way back further than my headline. So basically, right?
That's way back.
That's way back. You don't get back further than that. So for people watching this, I think you've been on before, right? But
I think so, yeah.
Just break it down. Who is August? Like, who are you? And what do you do?
All right, guys. So I am a university student here at Iowa State. I run a proposal called Bit to Byte, which is basically a student-led initiative that basically puts the power back into the students' hands. So how kind of cryptocurrency puts, makes everyone their own bank. We are making everyone their own teacher. Wow. We also see we got Xander in the chat here. He's also one of our core team members, and a lot has happened in the past few weeks.
Yeah, like
and,
what?
Yeah.
I think we spoke when we had you on. You said that you was developing the syllabus, right? You was building up the curriculum.
Yeah.
So whereabouts are you now? I'm a bit out of the loop. So you're actually teaching now. You've expanded your team as well. Can you elaborate on that as well?
Yeah, so I guess I'll just kind of talk about some things we did last week. So last week we added another team member. His name is John Clark, and he actually came with me to the BTC Miami conference in a few weeks ago, and we actually were at the Dash booth, kind of answering questions, helping out where we could, interacting with anybody that kind of came by the booth, so where we're at now, we have kind of taken things to the next level in terms of I don't know, it was this big kind of eye opener when all of a sudden, a large community supports you, right? And you get a amount of funds per month, right? And it's another thing if all of a sudden those funds, double. And so when I saw that, it was one of those things that, I don't know, it was just eye opening to me. And I almost felt like, I owed it to the community to, I don't know, almost,
right?
yeah, exactly.
Expertise in certain areas. So what do these new people do? Have they got particular skill sets? Have they got certain job roles?
Yeah, so I guess just kind of.
Oh no, we lost August.
Wow. I'm sure he's got the link, so can send it again. Brian, do you want to take the fort for a couple of seconds while I send him another invite? Or
yeah, I was going to ask him about. We were talking to him earlier about his expansion, and I think he said he had 5 team members now, and they were going to expand to 20. Is that right? Isn't that what he said? Pretty soon.
Yeah, he's definitely been hustling quite a bit. So the chap that he went to BTC Miami, I think that's the new marketing guy that he's got.
Right.
And
there he's back.
And I'm back.
Oh, excellent.
Sorry about that. I have no idea what happened. Oh man, that would be funny if I was like, and so we are, and then boom, I'm gone.
It was Paragon. It was the NSA.
Yeah, right. They're watching us.
That's a private in joke for those not in the community watching.
We were saying that you had 5 people and you were going to expand to 20. Is that right?
Yeah. 5? So just to kind of back up even more. So in our kind of initial proposal, we are a mentorship program at heart, right? So we employ high school and college kids to run classes, workshops, all that for younger kids, focusing on kind of STEM topics. So now we're still doing that, except we're doing a lot more things, and everything kind of goes back to the student. So we're trying to basically streamline everything. So everything that we are doing, trying to get it so that it's replicable and that anybody, across the world can, basically be involved. So we are going to basically do a sort of a mini proposal system, but it's all going to be focused around the academic world. So we're going to have students or community members basically submit proposals for projects, for research, for events. And we're going to have templates for all of these different mini proposals. And right now we're going to have kind of teams and committees that will go through some of these proposals and vote on which ones to fund. But in the future, we're actually going to be developing a platform so that community members or students can actually vote on what projects to fund, what research to fund, and what events to do. So these events would be hackathons, different competitions, and so everything that we're going to be doing is going to be student submitted. And the other kind of big the big component of this and why it will work is because we are not just going to be a kind of a grant system or like a nonprofit. We're not just going to be, you know, giving out funds for projects or for events and just saying, okay, you know, here's one Dash to do this event. Good luck. What we're actually going to be doing is it's basically like this give-take relationship. So everything that we give out, whether it's a project or if it's for research, we're actually going to ask the student to basically give a little back in return. And it might not be you know, it's probably not going to be this monetary return. Like, we're not going to ask for Dash back later, but what it will actually be is documentation. So it'll be, if it's a project, we want them to you know, talk about their experience, talk about what they learned through it, what, you know, sort of issues they had, all of that. And we're then going to be basically kind of repackaging that, putting it on our platform, and basically sharing that so that other students can learn from what they've learned by doing that project or by conducting this research. So now we're going to be granting basically these student proposals, and in return we get content, we get data, we get feedback, and we start building up a network of students that you know, that have that drive, that have that initiative, that really want to, you know, do some good in this world and also help others learn.
Okay, one question that I think perhaps people may have that are not familiar with Bit to Byte is that, as you clearly stated, you're funded by the Dash treasury.
Yep.
I think people will understand that you're about education, but they may not understand how Dash ties into it. So how does Bit to Byte relate to Dash? What's the connection there?
So if we are a DFO or Dash funded organization, I like to describe it as this. You know, the US government, they fund education for, you know, for students in America. Now think of it as, you know, Dash basically funding education for, you know, students around the world. And so we think that this is a viable option for you know, basically continuing that educational process. And but it's a little bit more than that. It's almost about creating a movement around education. So you know, trying to I don't want to say like convince, but trying to yeah, but it's
okay, we don't use like STEM, but like STEM, what is it, science, what is it,
technology, engineering, math.
Okay.
Yep. And so that's kind of our niche, or like that's, you know, our focus for now. I won't like make any statements on if we're going to be expanding from that, or you know, we don't know what the future holds, but that's definitely a possibility. We've been thinking about, you know, doing arts and stuff into it, so it's like STEAM. But again, like the big purpose is that we're not just going to be a STEM program. We're going to be a educational movement that, you know, tries to encourage students to actually, you know, take control or own their own education. So our tagline is "Make your education your occupation."
So you're trying to decentralize. So just like how we decentralize the legacy banking system, just like how Ben Swan is using Dash to be decentralized media from the centralized legacy media, now you want to decentralize the centralized education system with Bit to Byte, inspiring the next generation and bringing them into Dash, showing them that there's a new way of doing things, not just for monetary, but everything. And you can apply
Precisely.
it to. Oh, that's really cool. So is Dash involved in the curriculum at all?
Yeah. So, and again, we're even trying to decentralize the curriculum creation process. We think that, you know, no, not everybody is a perfect teacher, you know, or mentor, but I would say that, you know, every one of us has a certain skill or knowledge that, you know, that they can share with others. And so if somebody wants to, we're going to basically you know, open source the curriculum generation process. So people can actually submit curriculum to us. They could submit a Dash curriculum for a certain age group, and we would actually fund that like curriculum proposal. And so we would, you know, maybe even pay for, you know, 5 different versions of curriculum around Dash. The point is, you know, we don't think that, you know, education should be this whole, you know, centralized thing, because then by definition, it's almost like, the material that you're learning is going to be, biased, or it's chosen by someone else. We think that students should be able to own their own education, own what they want to teach or what they want to learn for themselves. They should be able to decide that. And they should also be able to, help mentor and teach other students. So again, it's a lot of things, but it's at the heart of it. It's about creating a movement around individualized and kind of, having students own their own education and help educate and teach and mentor others.
And if students want to get involved, what's your contact information?
So, and this was actually one of the things I kind of just decided right before this. And this is also the biggest reason for you guys are like, oh, August is gone, or he dropped off the face of the earth. Like, we've been trying to get to a point where we can, share and scale really fast. And so we wanted to, get to a point where we are ready, because last thing we want to do is create all this hype, and create all this, PR and publicity, and do all these like interviews. And then all of a sudden, not have our platform ready, not have the protocols and procedures ready. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you want to get involved, there is an interest form on our website right now. That's the best way to kind of inquire. We are, like I said, we're in the kind of beginning phases of things, and so we want to make sure that we're at a point, that we can accept, the increased traffic and increased scale, because we want every student, if they want to get involved, we want them to get involved. Does that make sense?
What's the web address?
Mm-hmm. So it's bit2byte.org. And also just talking about that too, we're going to see probably a lot of updates to that in the next coming weeks. So yeah, again, everything's kind of like temporary. So
okay. Is the proposal still being funded, or is it already passed and you're just operating on funds that you have?
Yeah, and so that was the other thing that I kind of wanted to talk about, and without going into too much of the nitty-gritty details, that was also one of the things that we kind of had to learn for ourselves in terms of, the funding. It's not a usual scenario that, students, get a large sum of funds to do some good in the world. And so we wanted to figure out the most efficient and the best way to use those funds. And part of that was, trying to create all these procedures and, doing things the right way. And then in reality, we realized, well, hey, it comes to a point where, you need to like not really worry about the how and just the do part. And so these past, few weeks and the past month or so, we've been doing that do part, getting a lot of things done, trying to use the funds as responsibly as we can. And so now that, the valuation has increased, we have been able to, operate with our previous budget for the past month or so. And I want to say probably in next month, or maybe even for this budget cycle, we'll probably be submitting another proposal. But the point is, we didn't want to, ask for funds if, if A, we didn't have the protocols and procedures to responsibly deal with and give out those funds, and then two, actually, use and, create value with the funds that we've, already had. Does that make sense?
Yeah. How long has it been running? It's a couple of months, hasn't it?
Oh, nice.
Yep. Yeah. So so I think right after the London conference, we got our proposal submitted. I think it was Jakob and I, we were riding home on the plane, and we were like watching the vote thing go.
Yeah, shout out to Jeff, actually. I remember doing it in the hotel room, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, even for me, it's a learning process as well. That was a great room. We had Dash Racer in, Synthesis as well. Shout out to Bristol crew, UK. Yeah, great time. So
one final question. Do y'all have and I'm sure y'all have a pre-proposal thing. Do y'all have a place where y'all broke down all the expenses and everything like that, or is that on the website? Or
so, and again, this was like we've been trying to kind of figure out the best kind of communication angle to play with this. The last thing we want to do is just, bombard the community with a bunch of information and all these, charts and graphics on the network effects and everything that we're doing. And so we've kind of decided we want to take this kind of almost like, this phases approach where we introduce kind of phase 1, phase 2, and kind of, show over time, not try to hype everything up, not try and promise a bunch of things that, A, we can't necessarily promise, or B, that, we're not quite at that point. So our goal is to, like I said, try and do things in phases, and to make sure that we're able to scale accordingly, and to, not take on too much responsibility. And I mean, you guys know we're in this for the long run. And so, we don't want to jeopardize that by, I don't know, you get what I'm trying to say, like, trying to overhype things, trying to.
One thing that got the community very excited, mainly just in, the Discord, well, maybe it was in Slack, actually, maybe this was pre-Discord, was that you mentioned about entertaining the idea of doing education through virtual reality. Is that still a plan, or is you still in the stage where you're researching, investigating, planning, or is there any more motion to this?
So again, that was one of those things where, like, at the time when we were talking about that, people were like, oh, we got to focus on the other things. We shouldn't be focusing on, trying to do this VR stuff. I'm like, no, guys, we can actually, we can hire a basically VR development team to work on some of this stuff while we do some of the other stuff. So that is what we're going to be actually doing in the next few weeks. And
your university actually is specialized in that, right?
Yeah, so we actually have a whole building in like a several $1 million. It's called like the VRAC or something.
Wow.
Yeah, so there is a lot of I guess options and possibilities and
Opportunities.
Well,
yeah,
you've networked,
exactly.
right? You know the professor there, and he is the creme de la creme. He's the leading pioneer of this stuff, right? So you've got the latest, greatest stuff to use, essentially.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's one of the, like, the beautiful things about being on campus, and again, why this will work. It's because we have this network, and because also another big takeaway is we don't want to do this alone. I'm talking to all of you guys out there that are watching. This is not something that, we're going to try and be like super competitive about. Like, we don't necessarily want people to, I don't want to say like copy, but like literally reach out and ask us, like, how you can be involved and what you can do to help. And the goal of what we're doing is to try and decentralize it. We want to make it so that it holds students accountable for their own education. We want to make it so it incentivizes them, it rewards them. Think of it as like you're putting your education at stake, like in a masternode. You're, there's that level of accountability. There's going to be that level of, community and that network of mentors. We want to build a network of speakers and students and professionals. We want to streamline, the event and conference process. We're going to be doing, pop-up events at universities across the US and all that. And again, without trying to do all this, hype, we want to make sure that we have those templates and we have those procedures and protocols to do things, in I don't want to say the safest way, but the I don't know, I guess like the most responsible way. And as Jeff kind of said, yeah, proof of education. We're going to be creating basically a model where instead of proof of work, it's proof of knowledge, and it'll be almost like block confirm times, except these confirms will be information exchanges between mentors and students. So I don't know, there's a lot of really interesting kind of cryptocurrency and blockchain kind of abstractions, and it's been really interesting just to kind of see some of these parallels, and and kind of take inspiration from from Dash and from the DAO and from the treasury system, the proposal system, to truly kind of form this I want to say like next level of education.
So what are the ages? Y'all go all the way to elementary, right? Elementary to college age, right?
Yeah. So ideally we would have, adults mentoring younger adults, and younger adults mentoring college students, and college students mentoring high school students, and high school students mentoring middle school students. It's again about creating that network of mentors, because not everyone is like I said, not everyone is a perfect teacher, but I strongly believe that everyone has something, worth or, important to share. And so we want to be the platform in the community that, allows them or enables them to share that information, but also to incentivize them and to make them, feel like they're a part of the process, because that's the biggest disconnect in I don't know, just universities and education in general. It's like students don't feel involved. They don't feel like, their opinions are being heard, or,
they're part of the machine, basically.
Yeah. Do you know how long it takes to get a class or like a degree or like a area of study added to a university? We actually we asked the university, we did some research about this, even like, doing class accreditation. It takes years. And the other really shocking thing is that, companies, they are doing research and they're doing developments on stuff that is, 3 to 4 to 5 years out in the future. And so if students are learning material and subjects and concepts that are several years old, while companies are doing research and developments that are several years beyond where we're at now, students are, 8 to 10 years or so behind in the educational material and content that they're being taught. And
I would love for you to team up with, so in the UK, they're trying to use vocational colleges, because they're trying to it's kind of like a test thing at the moment. So it's kind of around the London area. And what they are is they're partnering with companies like Cisco, I guess in the States would be like Google, Apple, Tesla. And they actually talk to them. They say, what skills are you looking for to hire people, right? Which would be like the equivalent of, like, in the olden days, like an apprenticeship. And they say, like, well, here's what we need for our jobs. So you talk to them, learn about the skills you want, keep a good dialogue, and then you integrate that into your system. So the people that progress for your curriculum basically have a gateway into these big companies. Now, that's great, and I'm sure that's going to excite a lot of people. But at the same time, you want to be decentralized, because we don't want to funnel people through into just to centralized systems. Otherwise, it's like Mark of the Beast, isn't it? You just
and that's why this will work. It's because it's not going to be, content or curriculum that's just being created by this one team that, might be biased, or, that has some of these different, influences. We want it to be the people create the content, the people create the curriculum and the material, the students do, and the teachers do. And, the community can basically decide on, the community is the accreditation. So instead of, having it go through this yearly kind of extensive process to accredit curriculum and material, actually incentivize people to review it, maybe even incentivize professional educators and researchers to review it, so that we do have, it's about that balance. We have the accreditation, but we also have the kind of track record. And that's also one of our strategies too. We know that this is not like, we don't want to be this competitive educational force. We want to actually complement and work with the existing, infrastructure. And so we're going to be trying to set up partnerships and relationships with universities, with professors, with researchers, to kind of help us along with this mission, because they also know too that, technology changes a lot of things, and it makes sense for them to, change with it and to update with it and to support projects that, at the end of the day, we're doing the same thing. We're educating people, and we're helping to prepare them for their future.
Yeah, I would figure schools would be more open, everybody, just to cryptocurrency now, because way more so than like last year and years past. I mean, everybody wants in now.
That's a good segue. Me and Brian, what we really want to know, August, is, like, you're on campus right now, yeah?
Yep.
Me and Brian, we've been in Dash for a very long time now. You came into the Dash scene like a tornado just after summertime last year. What we want to know is, what sentiment for people like your age within Dash right now? How do you feel about Dash since you've been involved? And what kind of feeling do you get around on campus when you talk to people about Dash? How do you feel about Dash right now?
So, I was actually going to write up this whole kind of, I don't know, like reflection about, my interaction with the community, what I've learned through it, and even just, posting this to r/cryptocurrency to help kind of clear up some of the, I don't want to say like FUD, but, this is one of the first times that, I kind of came as like this almost outsider. Like, I didn't really have any, I don't know, like a track record, right? And and I wanted to inquire. It was almost like an experiment for myself, and I do remember reading a bunch of that, a bunch of people talking on the subreddits and all that, and like thinking, well, it can't really be like that bad, right? So, talking with the community and then realizing that, almost everybody, actually, I can't even say almost, I can say everybody that I have talked to and interacted with and communicated with in the Dash community, whether they're a core developer, a community member, a proposal owner, everybody is super genuine. They want to help people. They want to help with this mission. It's
we really want to change the world.
Yeah, and I know, I don't know, I know other coins and stuff, they'll say, well, yeah, well, we're trying to do that too. But I mean, even just use me as an example, right? The community had no idea who I was, this outsider coming in, but yet they, the community, the Masternode community, the Dash community, you guys kind of almost took me in, and you guys, I don't want to say like accepted, but you guys, I'll use the T word, you guys trusted me to follow through with this mission. And again, that to me was like the biggest eye opener that, was, I don't know, just very powerful that this large community, trusted a student, with, I don't want to say like minimal track record, but trusted someone because, not because of what they've done in the past, but because they believed in their mission. They believed in what they were trying to do. And I don't know really of any other, coins or communities out there that truly, I don't know, do that to this scale. And so again, that is why I'm here today. And that is why I'm continuing with this, because now that the community trusts me, I want to share that trust with other students across the world and help others learn. And I don't think it should be this competition. I think we're all kind of in it for the same mission. So I don't know. That's just kind of some of my takeaways.
We definitely need more people with more energy like yourself. I remember when you came in, like Mark said, it was like a tornado. And I think within like the first month or two, you won the Dash Force MVP. I mean, you were like everywhere doing everything.
To London.
Yeah.
Jacob. Shout out to Jacob. Salute. I know you're there somewhere watching.
Yeah, we actually, this week we had an article posted in our like engineering like an email sent out that actually talked about that trip. And then the reason why, again, I haven't like, truly, shared that yet with the community is because we are still at that phase where we're trying to prepare a lot of things. And yes, we could do all the hype we want. We could do all the interviews. We could, generate all this publicity. But the fact of the matter is we want to be ready for that publicity. We want to be truly like ready to scale like when we need to. It's almost like I want to say the Dash approach. They focus on the value creation. They focus on the features, on doing these integrations. And, the hype comes naturally. The hype comes from the announcements of these features and all that. So I don't know, that's kind of how we've been kind of inspired from their approach, from the community's approach, and how we're trying to, replicate it and take those good qualities of generating the value first. It's about generating that community, generating the, generating a need for the value. And then later, once we're ready, we can quote unquote hype it all up. Like we won't have a problem, communicating and getting across to students that this is something very, very valuable. And we saw that actually a few days ago. We did, I posted on Twitter and in Discord. We did, we had a Bit to Byte booth at the engineering career fair and business career fair here on campus at Iowa State. And we got hundreds of really talented engineering student resumes and people that looked us like right in the eye, and I, I'm not like BSing anybody, and they said, I want to help you guys with your mission because you guys are doing a really, really good thing. And I don't know, like I can't really describe that in words. It was one of those things you have to I don't know, kind of see for yourself. But that to us was also just super
just confirmation that you're on the right path, you're doing the right thing.
Like reassuring, and to having people that we've never even met come up to us and say like, I want to do this for the rest of my career or my education, and I want to help with that goal, because it's one of those things that nobody's going to disagree with. Everybody wants to help others learn, everybody wants to help mentor and teach others, and again, like I keep going back to the network effects. There's a lot of like positivity around this, and
well, you've brought in a lot of new young people as well, right? Just from even in your own network. I mean,
Yeah.
kind of hard to think of Discord and the community and you not being in it now, because you play a key fundamental role being a moderator in Discord as well, right? You're helping out with the bots and all sorts of things. So just yourself being involved, you've then brought your peers in as well, from campus as well. So like, how is there anything you think we can do better to approach and engage a younger audience? What have you learned from your peers on campus? Help us out. We can get the tools to do it, but you've got the knowledge and the know-how because you're there talking to people on the scene.
Yeah, and there's honestly there's a lot of things, and we've kind of over these past few months we've been, well, you know, do we have to be kind of secretive? Like, we don't want any of this to, you know, I don't want to say like get out, but then at the end of the day, I realized, well, you know, let's let it get out. Let's not do this alone. Let's not keep this, you know, to ourselves. Let's enable ourselves to work with and to collaborate and work with other universities, other students. And I think right now we've just been trying to kind of strategize the best ways to do that feasibly, or like I said, you know, responsibly. And so that really means it's almost about creating that community around learning, around educating, around like kind of helping others. And I keep going back to the network effects, that give-take relationship. We're not just going to be a nonprofit that allocates funding to, you know, whatever, and then just says, you know, good luck with that. We actually, no, we think that everybody should, you know, everyone who's going to be getting a grant or funding for their project, they should they should deserve it, and B, they should also, you know, follow through with it and be held accountable. And so by combining that aspect of, you know, that academic world, you know, where, you know, you have homework and stuff to turn into your professor, we can use that as our kind of give-take relationship. So as we give out funds for projects or for events, we actually require them to give us things in return, which is that content, that documentation. If it's an event, you know, photos and videos of it, you know, maybe surveys and stuff from the users, all that. And it's about that idea of like value creation, that shared value.
Well, can you do me a favor? Mm-hmm. I want you to print out 500, not 1,000 flyers. You got to do this soon. You haven't got long because it's limited time. 1,000 flyers saying to people, because it's campus college kids, they've all got laptops, they all play games. So just a really straightforward flyer saying Steam games, 10% off, bit refill, only with Dash Digital Cash. Be quick. Bang them out left, right, and center, because 10% off to the students is a lot. It's only because it's limited time. And then after you've done that, when are the holidays coming up for students? You got one coming up soon for Easter or something, or?
We got spring break coming up. Actually, Xander.
Well, when it comes up to the break, print off 2,000, 5,000 flyers saying coming back, upgrading your MacBook, need anything else for equipment, whatever you students buy, backpacks, all sorts of things. Go to Amazon, get 15% off with Dash Digital Cash. Buy Amazon vouchers. You know, you could even do like ones with girls with Starbucks. Like your Starbucks, you get 15% off. You like your McDonald's,
exactly, and that's one of the other things that is really that I don't think we even made clear enough. Like, we're going to be creating, like I said, this community around education or community around learning, and what that also means is we're going to be creating, you know, jobs and opportunities for these kids, and we could literally be hosting or, you know, helping to organize, you know, thousands and thousands of students across the nation to do things like this, to do these campaigns, to do, you know, social media campaigns where we do giveaways, to do, you know, merchant adoption programs. We actually are going to be having a kind of a Dash like integration team that will literally go to all of the, you know, kind of local businesses and merchants around us, and, you know, at all of the physical events that we do with the university, like student organizations and clubs, and all the event flyers and everything, we'll actually put all of the merchants, you know, that are accepting Dash, you know, on the flyer, so that, you know, at all of our events where we have, you know, 150 or 200 or, you know, whatever amount of students.
Do you have fast food there in campus? Like, do you have like a Domino's, McDonald's, things like that? You must have a notice board.
We have a lot of food areas.
You should put like one big sign up saying like, you know, Domino's, McDonald's, Burger King, Starbucks. If students, you can save 15% by going to bitcart.io, 15% with Dash Digital Cash. For more information, speak to August, and then put your hall number or whatever, right? Your contact details, even put your email address, like, you know, bit to byte. Honestly, people are saying, if they're buying like new MacBooks for like $2,000 and they're saving 15%, that's huge. You know, and it's not just applicable to boys, food, everything, just supplies, just to actually live. So it's going to make a big difference.
Great ideas. Great ideas.
And the interesting kind of another reason why that will work is because they're students. A lot of times, you know, students don't have the, you know, the funds for, you know, food or some of those things, and so we can fill all those gaps. We can fill, you know, that educational gap. We can fill that you know, that occupation gap where we're going to be employing and hiring student researchers and developers, and we're going to be doing giveaways and all these events, and we're going to be, you know, giving out Dash at all these events. And I don't know, it's the network effects of actually now having a use case. It's like this real life.
I've seen those Hollywood movies with all these fraternities and stuff, all these dress-up parties and these late-night things and these kegger things, whatever you do over there. I've seen all this stuff. I know you guys are creative with it, especially when it comes around to Halloween and stuff. I want to see you dress up Jacob or one of your boys in like a coin, like a Dash coin, going around campus giving out flyers to people. I want to see, get creative. Like, can you imagine if do you have like a student bar? Like we have like student union bars here that sell alcohol a bit cheaper to students and stuff. I don't know if you have an equivalent or some student bars, but if you got them to accept Dash as well, and then they could offer it as a discount for students, dude, you'd be next level stuff. You know, you'd be on campus.
And so those are going to be some of the like kind of, I want to say almost like our kind of Dash integration or kind of merchant teams, where we will like lead these campaigns to try and, you know, not just do it in our area, but to try and streamline it so that, you know, students across the US or across the world can take some of our ideas and our strategies for doing that.
Well, why don't you put in a proposal to buy like an ATM for the campus?
Yeah, and I actually did want to do that.
the lowest one, was it like $3,000 or something now? Like the smallest one. Dude, like, speak to Jeff. He's got a couple. Like, he'll give you the download. He'll let you know the
biggest thing about that is actually finding like the location and kind of figuring out those kind of legal things. And I think
Wi-Fi. It's all right. Just stick it on the wall. Start up a tuck shop. Hey kids, you want some sweets? You want a pot noodle? I know you're starving. I know you like noodles. Come here.
So this kind of this leads into the next thing, and
hustle.
Without kind of promising or hyping too much, we are actually we're pretty close to securing a kind of bit to byte learning center almost. So here on Ames, it's only like a few miles out from campus. There's a bus that goes to it. We're going to be creating a innovation center for students where we have mentors, where we have our bit to byte offices, where we have like classrooms, where we can host workshops and events, and where we can also have, you know, that Dash ATM on the property, and also potentially a little like a Dash shop, like a little physical merchant shop where we can, you know, sell coffee or that sort of thing for Dash. Yeah, it's like creating like these whole, you know, economies and communities around actually using it, not just not just hyping it or not just, you know, trying to like share it. Like we're creating the real life applications.
Talk to those engineering students you spoke to. Send them the plans for the Dash and Drink vending machine.
Yeah,
and all they need is a Raspberry Pi and an old clapped out vending machine. All you got to do is put that in there. You've already got the Wi-Fi. Everywhere's got Wi-Fi now. Plug that in. It doesn't even have to be a Coke can machine. It can be anything. It could be sweets, crisps, you name it.
Yeah, I think the ATM is key. And one thing that y'all could do, I don't know the legal implications, but if you got an ATM, you could even skip the bit card or do it yourself and offer these kids like 15%, have the gift cards and say, if y'all pay in Dash, there's the ATM, pay in Dash, 15% off these gift cards, Domino's, whatever, boom.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Dude, next level.
It
would all be almost worth talking to Graham, but it's the liquidity side of their business, because if you could somehow verify it there on the spot, just saying like, can you imagine if you actually had like a tablet up on your shop of like Bitcart, just saying like, you know, you can get your Amazon voucher here now, just plug it into the tablet. Like, yeah.
I didn't even go into that yet, but yeah, we're going to be doing like these, you know, I don't want to say like giveaways, but also potentially, you know, kind of partnerships and collaborations, you know, with organizations, with, you know, companies. If, you know, if a organization donates like laptops, we could actually create a, almost like a store where kids could actually purchase school materials and you know, and kind of learning materials and books potentially with Dash and all that.
15% off. That'd be, yeah, should be huge.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just
all right, let's start to wrap up. We're about an hour or so in.
Right. Okay. Orders are in. Brian's cracked the whip. So let's wrap this up. So
yeah, but we're just kind of touching the surface of all this, and I guess just one last thing that I want to say just to everyone watching, because we'll probably, you know, share this video. I guess there's no real like explanation or like reasoning behind the, I don't want to say like, you know, I don't want to say miscommunication or lack of communication. It's just we've been trying to figure out the most responsible kind of strategy to that communication, you know, without trying to overhype or overshare, and kind of focus on, you know, the logistics of things and focus on, you know, creating that value and the procedures for things. So that when we do share it and when we do hype it up and we do, you know, spread it across the, you know, entire, you know, US and, you know, other universities, you know, we want to be ready. And so hopefully everyone else watching this and you guys, can kind of start to see some of the things that we've been devopping and kind of, I guess, I don't know, bear with us.
So hey, what was the website again?
Yeah, bit2byte.org. But for
yep.
Proposal updates, are you still updating the Dash forums? Is that?
Yeah. So we've again, we're kind of working on like a little like update kind of newsletter. So I'll probably post that probably everywhere. So it'll probably be like in our Discord channel. It'll probably be on like our Twitter, social media. Ideally, once we have the next version of our or like our MVP for our platform up and running in the coming weeks, we'll have like blogs and updates on our site and all that. And we're starting an emailing list too, so that if students want to get involved, or professors, or, you know, Dash community members, whatever, if they want to receive updates for our developments progress, they can join our I guess email list.
Yeah. Okay. So bit2byte.org or
yep.
Twitter to follow you at bit2byte, no spaces,
_org.
Oh, is there an underscore org? Okay.
Yeah. And then org. Yep. And then mine is August James D.
James D, and the D's for Dash, right?
Yeah.
Naturally. Why wouldn't it be?
All right.
Right. Okay. Let's wrap this up. So we're going to hop over now to Discord -chat.org, and we're going to have an after party where we can have 10 people and you can come in, ask us questions, no holds bars. You can ask us anything. It's normally fun, normally goes on for an hour, a bit longer. So come on and join us. This has been episode 38 of the Dash Force Free Amigos. I know time flies, isn't it? Thank you to August for joining us today. He's a great ambassador for Dash. As you've heard earlier, he's doing some great things. He really cares about education and the kids as well. This is what makes Dash so special. It's the community. We're open, friendly community, and we bring in the best, and we bring out the best in people as well. Leading, pioneering, media, money, education. We're changing the world, bringing financial freedom to the world. I love it. So on that note, if you've enjoyed this video, if you found it informative, kick, punch, like that share button, like, comment, share, do all that good stuff. And we will see you next Friday, 3 p.m. EST, 8 p.m. UTC, and same Dash time, same Dash channel. And that's a wrap. And don't forget, stay dashy.